Basically, this is the lowdown of uploading your videos on your files on Behance. Another thing you could do is easily replace an image and say, okay, I don't want this image anymore. The, I'm just going to replace it with, you know, with another, and that basically just the takes its place, similar to how you do on Figma or whatnot. So moving on to the styles. So the styles are basically how you configure the little things in your project. So if you look at the project, you can see that when you place two images side by side or together, there's white space in between them. I personally hate it. So what I do is I just put this to zero. So this is what is controlling the space in between images. And if you have a preference to keep it there, if you don't, I personally hate it. So I keep it to zero. And this is the background color, which basically says, when we have text like this, what background color should be existing behind it. So if you change this color, it affects the background color. So anytime you put in text, so if you decide that you want to use a particular color code like this, you know, um, so you can just decide to go into your text, change the text color to white, and then that text is another thing I love doing. Put a space because as you can see, space over this all the constraints or the boxes in itself, and you set it in preview mode, it's sticking to the top of the next image, the image above it and the image below it. So what I personally like to do is just, put space at the top, put space at the bottom, so that when I'm previewing, so that when I'm previewing my image or my is that basically space in between my so then the style you change any color, set much space in between, your about personal preferences. And the next thing is the setting. The set give your project a title, which is similar to hashtags on Twitter, Instagram, and all the social media platforms. Is like to use the hashtags that are relevant to your project. So mine is for like a social platform. So I'm just going to mention social platform, which means anytime someone searches on Behance, social platform brand identity or visual identity, this is one of the projects that is going to pop up. So I could also say visual identity because it's a visual identity, and app, something like that. Also brand identity. So you just use hashtags that are related to this. Also think about what this could be related to in terms of because it's social, like okay, it will really be related to social media, would it be related to another field whereby if people search for this, it's going to pop up. And you basically have 10 tags to use, a maximum of 10 tags you can use below, but it's always good to use up to 10. Behance also suggests some for you. So if you click on this, it just basically starts adding that up for you, and you have 4, 5. Okay. So you have 10 basically. And then the next thing is to mention the softwares you've used on this project. So name as many softwares you use. So if it's a project whereby you use up to 6 different softwares, Behance doesn't have like a thumbnail for all of them, but you still mention it for you. So if you use, so like on this project, I used Adobe After Effects, I used Adobe Illustrator, yeah, I use Illustrator, I use Photoshop, I use Figma. So basically just mention all of them. I don't think there is There is a limit to this, so I've never maxed the limit because mostly I use about 4 to 5 softwares when working on my project. So you just list those there. You don't necessarily have to lie. So just if it's only Photoshop you use during your project, just put it there. Just Illustrator, put it there. And then here you have to categorize, what field this project belongs to. This can help when they are featuring the project too. And there are a lot of fields, but you can only select three. So you can either select them from here and say, oh, graphic design, advertising, and product design. But in a case where you don't find everything you are looking for, you can just click on view all fields, and then you go through, each one of them. It's ranked alphabetically. And so let's look for, so again, this has to be peculiar to your project. You can't choose game design when you basically do the visual identity for an app that is like for a social media app that is not a game. So you basically look for things that are very similar to what you've done. I've selected two, and let me just um, let's pick web design and say done. So basically ticks those three for you, and then set the visibility. Is it a private project or a public one? So you set it to everyone. If you have 18 plus content on it, so you basically have to click this to let Behance know that there are some sensitive information or sensitive graphics on there. If not, you just leave this open. And if you work with other people on your project, you can, add them in and say, maybe I work with, should post, yeah. So you have him as a co-owner. I think he needs to accept this. That's why it is pending. And the person I worked on this was active. So let's see if his name pops up. Yep. So yeah, you add basic people. Another thing, have a project description. So I think, so what is your project all about? This is another place to, because this is just like a brief, what's it called? A brief description of it. Um, so do you want to disable comments? Maybe you don't want to attract any negativity or you don't want any praise. So do you want to disable comments or enable it? How do you want people to see you? So if you had worked for a real life company that exists out there, so you could just mention their name, yeah, and say, oh, I did this for Pentagram. Who else would you like to recognize yourself? Your teammates and whatnot. So you add all this, and then so at this point you can either decide to save it as draft or you publish the project. So publishing the project makes it go right there. It's now a project that exists, on Behance. And at this point, this will take us basically to the last part of the presentation, which is to share it on social media. So basically, Behance will prompt you to share it, to your Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and all these are normal. So if you click on this, just try to access your social media platform that you have connected, and it says you should post this. But what you need to do is not necessarily to post this directly from this. So what you have to do is now go to your platform yourself, because what Behance is posting for you is just a link, right? So you could log in into your Twitter and say, um, you then you tweet it yourself so that you are able to add images to your tweet. Copy, so let's say you add an image, copy your file link, and then paste it. So this helps to give people more context as to what they are supposed to expect on Behance, right? So that is one way to post it. But the one I want to focus on is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. All these are easy for us to do. But one I want to focus here is Pinterest. And Pinterest is one very important social media platform to use because A lot of people use Pinterest basically, and I've had people message me directly that, oh, guy, I saw your work on Pinterest, and I'm like, yeah, I added it on Pinterest. So when people are searching through Pinterest, they see your project, and it can people are already liking the project, and it can directly help you generate more leads. And I don't have the data for that, but I do believe it's one of the reasons why I have this much um, traffic. Apart from the fact that some of the projects have been featured. Now, getting a project featured doesn't necessarily equate to getting a lot of traffic. It depends on the category where your project is featured. If it's featured in graphic design or Illustrator, for instance, it generates a lot of buzz compared to when it's featured in InDesign. I guess people don't frequent that part of Behance. So, but sharing your work on Pinterest means that when people are using particular keywords, your project shows up in the search results, and it's such a great thing because amongst other for class projects, the project is popping up. So what to do is to copy your project link and head over to your Pinterest account if you have one. If you don't have one, you can create, and then come to this create section and then create pin. Now, one you can create your pin in two ways. One way is to click, drag your project into it, add the project link, copy the project name, right, and then you save it. So maybe if you are used to Pinterest, you know that you have a lot of boards that you create on Pinterest, and then so if I save this into brand identity, for instance, so in one way or the other, this exists on Behance already, on Pinterest already. So if anybody wants to, what's it called? If anybody is searching for particular keywords that are peculiar to my project, my project is going to show in that. So with Pinterest, now if I just click on Behance.net, it directs you to that page, and you can go and say, oh, this project, oh my God, wow, see, this is like, right? And then it helps you generate that kind of traffic. The simpler way to do it, but it's not enough to have just one image, because you don't know what particular visual cue people are looking for. So another way to kind of like do it is to just copy your link and then go to click on this save from site. So when you click on save from site, just enter the website and click on, oh, sorry, that is not a valid URL. So you click on this and then so it basically loads up the page for you, and any image it's seen on Behance. So even if it's seen, if Behance is bringing other images down here, Pinterest is basically going to capture all that. So you see, because of my other project that you will see when you search for Behance, search for me on Behance, it's bringing some of my other work here, but they are not peculiar to this project. So you select the ones that are peculiar to the project. So far in this one, it brings just two for me. Maybe because there are not a lot of the images on the side. So, but in some cases, you have up to 10, up to 15. So you select, I normally select like 5 to 7. So what you just do is, add the pins together, and you can basically just, copy your title again. Where down, copy your title again, and just so this basically saves you time if you have more than one to paste at the same time. So you just save and then you save. So that way you create multiple of your images. So when people are searching for particular projects, so this can pop up for person A, this can pop up for person B. All is still going to lead back to your Behance project, and then you generate more clicks, you generate more views, more likes if you care about all these metrics. So basically that is that is it on showcasing your work on Behance. And if I've missed something or you have any questions, ask me and try to respond. So thank you very much, and over to you, Krista.
All right, amazing. I hope I can be heard.
Amazing. I hope I can hear.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
I think
I
let's
think
go
that's
back
uh,
to.
so
You can stop sharing your screen. All right, great. That works. All right, guys.
all right, guys.
I mean, I got some
I got
crazy
some
hacks,
crazy hacks
Paul.
for
This one of
this
Pinterest. I
one
never
of
knew
interest. I
I
never
could
knew
pull that
I
off.
could pull that off.
I guess that's why you
I
have
guess
so
that's
much.
why
I mean, if
that's
I should do that, I guess I would
if
have
I should do that, I guess I would have
my first award.
my first awards.
No, I don't think it guarantees that work. I mean, I know it's going to generate because I've sat for projects before and I see my own projects, you know, like that's nice. So
Yeah, that should definitely work. So anyone with
Definitely.
questions,
So
please, you could
anyone
use
with
the
questions,
comment
use
section
the
and ask.
comment section ask.
Yeah, we would wait.
Yeah, wait.
But why would we wait
But
on
when
that? I would
we
like to
wait,
ask.
I
There's this
like
thing
to ask
called
this
I
thing
think it's just
called
a pose.
I think it's just a post.
yeah,
So how do you pull it off?
So how do you control?
I have, I haven't had much success with juxtapose
Mm.
because one problem I have with juxtapose is that it works well if you put it in your it's it's a very nice tool to have on your project on Behance. Um, when you add it to Behance, it works great if you are viewing your project from a laptop or a system, but it creates a lot of white space when you are viewing it on mobile. So if you use a juxtapose slider on the project, the next if you have, and majority of your viewers are going to be on mobile. So if you want to go through the next image, you have to literally scroll down a lot of white spaces before you see the next image. Now, I've seen some people who have been able to bypass that, but I don't know how they were able to because the one time I tried it on a logo folio, I loved it on mobile, see the before and after, but when I check it on my mobile, and my friend Farouk also posted a project lately, and I had to tell him that guy, there's a lot of white space there because it was using the suppose dot
Mm.
there. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why I don't recommend it. I mean, it's great for web, but the experience is the experience. A lot of people are going to use it on mobile.
Mm.
I've tried, even though I don't understand one line of code, I've tried to go through the code, tried to change the file size because it's going to write it there like 1920 by 1080. I've tried to make it like 40, but what happens is that it squashes the image. So instead of reducing the white space, it just compresses the image. And I'm like, oh no, this is not what I want. So I think I ended up taking it off, my project. So maybe the best app to do there is to maybe just go into After Effects, create your before and your after, time it, maybe after 5 seconds, the after shows, and then it goes back. So this is until I find the app, I'm not going to recommend it.
All right. Fair enough.
So,
So we would be
so
taking any
the
question. In the absence of
weekend
question, we might just
absence of
end the live.
reduced stress and the like.
Yeah. Please, last question.
This is your moment to ask the six-time award-winning Behance. Okay, I think
I think
Paul is frozen.
Polish
Frozen? No, I'm not in the lake. Oh.
Oh, all right.
or
Nice one. Okay, I think I would want to believe that there are no questions. Everyone got the hacks you gave
the
out
hacks you
and everything else in between.
else.
So I would like to really thank you. This has been so amazing, to be honest. I learnt a couple of things I knew I would have overskipped or not taken note of, and I'm sure moving
And I'm
forward
sure
it would help me get my awards. All right, so thank you so much, Paul Kelly.
Mhm. Thank you for having
All right, so thanks everyone for joining in. It's been a wonderful session, and yeah, till the next one, be safe. Bye, guys.
me. Again.
guys.